Peace, everybody. It's Dynasty Mir, Search for Uhuru. Let's get some more people in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure as you enter the chat room, please hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the broadcast, if this is your first time viewing, hit that subscription button and also that subscription bell. Today's topic is Akata, African booty scratcher, ADOS, and jockeying for position under white supremacy. Now, this is the point I want to make. What's up, yo? People who are still leveraging this, I don't want to mess or deal with Africans because an African called me an Akata, they're not serious. Africans who are still leveraging that I don't want to deal with Black Americans because a Black American, African American called me an African booty scratcher is not serious. And the reason why I say that, let me start off, I'm gonna start off from an African American point of view. Now, I get a lot of people on my page, Dynus, you selling out, you spending so much time in Africa, but they called us Akata. They call us Akata. Then they'll turn around. Now, I'm from Sacramento, California. I'm from the West Coast. The West Coast is a very diverse place. So in my circle growing up in Sacramento, I grew up with Filipinos, Tongans, Asians, Hispanics, white people. I grew up with just about every demographic you could think of. It was very diverse. And this is where the hypocrisy comes in when it comes to the word Akata. If an African troll who's not serious anyway, who for the most part, the majority of these Africans who sit here and call you Akata, all they're doing is jockeying for the seat at the table, or they're trying to get as many crumbs as possible off of the floor of the table of white people, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. The issue I have, again, it being California being so diverse, you get upset and offended by an African troll who calls you a Akata, but you would allow Filipino, basically a non-Black person, call you nigga. And then you'll justify this non-Black person calling you nigga because, well, it's part of hip hop. It's in the lyrics. It's this. It's that. It's hip hop. They grew up with us. They grew up in our neighborhoods. So you make up every excuse for allowing a non-Black person to call you nigga. What up, my nigga? Dead serious. Seeing the lyrics to Jay-Z in front of you, Jigga my nigga. Then these rappers will go out here and justify it as well. Well, man, it's hip hop culture, man. It's the culture. It's just the culture, man. It's the culture, Everybody loves our swag, man. The Japanese kid, the Chinese kid, the Asian kid, the Hispanic kid, they just love our culture, man. They can say nigga. I mean, it's in the songs, they cool, man. They cool. They just embrace the culture. So you allow them to call you nigga, but damn it, if an African calls you an Akata, you're ready to go to war. Oh, they sold us into slavery. They did this, they did that. And again, I get people on my page who get upset. Dynus, I can't believe African used the word Akata. And this is the thing. The only time I've been called an Akata either a couple trolls online, a couple trolls trolling me online. And I think I had a friend who called me Akata one time, but I didn't take it personal because they broke down what the term Akata meant. Because my thing is, how can you get so offended and emotional and ready to fight? And I don't mess with them Africans. I ain't never going to Africa. I ain't dealing with them Africans. But damn it, when a non-black person calls you nigga and is singing the lyrics of Jay-Z or Gucci Mane with you, you ain't got no problem with it. But damn it, the African call me Akata is war. It's on and popping on site. And that's the thing. Like, I don't agree with the use of the word, but how much we beg for inclusion and we beg to, I guess, integrate. We just let go of our dignity and integrity. And I'm not capable. I'm about to get, dude. I get on I get on these Nigerian coons all the time. So don't think I'm caping for Africans or whatnot. I get on the coons all the time, and we're gonna get on the coon today. Trust me. And that's the thing. I've only been called a kata a couple times. Either a troll online, they'll come in the chat room or leave a comment. Or I think one of my one of my African friends called me an arrogant Akata. I was like, all right, whatever. Now, when it comes to African booty scratcher, again, if a black African American calls you an African booty scratcher because he's upset at you, he's not serious or he's not trying to build anyway. So just ignore him. And see, and this is the problem I have. You have so many professional I would say organizations or so many professionals that you can seek out that if you're serious about building with, whether it be black African American or African, that are out there, that if you're serious about building, seek them out. Or if you put yourself out there, they'll come and seek you out. Because I just see a lot of black people, African Americans, who want to disconnect themselves from the continent and continue to claim, you got people, stop the show. You got people, and nothing against Stockton, California, nothing against, West Baltimore, nothing against South Side Chicago. You're using I'm using bed sheets as curtains. But for some reason, you heard this story. You heard this story online. You read this article. You saw Sugar Hill, and the African called Wesley Snipes and his brother the Dope Boys, which I'm gonna get to, and Akata. Now all of a sudden you think all the Africans don't like you because you saw it in the movie. You take that, you leverage that, a movie, Sugar Hill, as if the Africans don't like us. Why? Because they call us Akata. Has an African ever called you an Akata? No. Where do you get this from? Well, that's what somebody told me. I just think it's over exaggerated, and it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Same thing with the African booty scratcher thing. I think it's over exaggerated. I just think there are a lot of Africans that just think that, you know, when they open the door and go out their house, that African Americans are just thinking African booty scratch, African booty scratch, African booty scratch, just waiting for them. It's over exaggerated, and we allow these words to keep us from building. And I think, and that is the problem. Two words, Akata and African booty scratcher. Akata and African booty scratcher. Two words. I'm telling you, it's being over exaggerated. It's keeping Black people from building. And I think that's the problem. And trust me, I know a lot of African coons, Afri-PMs, Afri-coons. I know a lot of them immigrate into this country and kiss white ass. I understand. Trust me, I'm not giving them a pass at all. I get it. But damn it, you have this thing called the internet, social media, YouTube, and there are many who are serious and who want to build. Period. Which leads me to, no, we're trying to overcomplicate it, Barry Simmons. That's a very simplistic analysis. No, it's not. See, we overcomplicate everything. It's very, I'm a living example of it. The few times or the one time that I got trolled and called me, in Africa called me an Akata, or when I saw Sugar Hill and I saw the African call Wesley Snipes and his brother Akata, and if I leveraged that to choose not to go to Africa, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So let's stop. We overcomplicate it. It's very simple. We're just overcomplicating it. Period. That's what I'm saying. You're overcomplicating it because it's really that simple. Because it's a small minority, a very, 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 very small minority who engages in this. But we overcomplicate it. We make it as if, oh, the Africans don't want us to come back, or the Africans sold us into slavery. So the Africans sold you to slavery, but you want to sit here and jockey for position under white supremacy, the people that put you into chattel slavery. So again, the people who are serious are going to continue to build and not allow the small minority to stop us from building. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, it goes both ways. Which leads me to this Harriet Tubman thing. Okay. Excuse me. And I'm gonna open up the lines. I'm gonna put the email in the chat room if you want to call in, and we can discuss it. Yeah, that's a problem I have. Oh, the Africans sold us into slavery. They called us Akata. But then you sit here in America and kiss white ass all day. Oh, the Black American. ghetto. They call me African booty scratcher. But then you sit here in America and smile and grinning. You a full hoe African, Africoon, kissing white booty all day. That's what I'm talking about. So we're mad at each other, but then we kiss white booty. You know, we allow the Filipino, the Asian, the Hispanic to call us nigga because it's hip hop culture. You know, the same hip hop culture that we brag about how everybody wants to be us. Oh man, the African, you know, our culture is the most respected on the planet. What culture? Hip hop. Then you go to Japan, you know, you're hanging out, you know, with the Hispanic kids or Asian kids. They call you nigga. You think it's cool, and you see it as them embracing the culture because they could call you nigga now and get away with it. Yeah, they call me nigga. You know, they love our culture because they call us nigga too, because they listen to our music and use the word nigga. So yeah, they love our culture. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they use the word nigga, so she cool. Yeah, yeah. She listens to rap. Oh, she listens to rap music. Oh, the Asian girl listens to rap music. Yeah, she can say yeah, nigga. Yeah. The white guy listens to rap music, hip hop. Oh, he loves hip hop. Yeah, he can say nigga. He's cool. He's cool. But damn it, let the African call you Akata. It is war. See, they don't like us. But then when we look at it on a deeper level, the same people that call you nigga because they love the same music as you. They love hip hop. They love our culture. They won't do business with you. They understand economic warfare. They're not going to break bread with you, no matter what. Now you might get lucky and get some non-black booty. You'll get that. But as far as economics, they're not breaking bread with you. They're not going to come support your black business. But hey, they cool though because they say the N word and listen to hip hop. But then when the African calls you Nakata, it is on and cracking. Hit that like button. So I meant to speak on this last week. The whole Harriet Tubman controversy. I won't be seeing the movie. Now, me not seeing the movie has nothing to do with the actress being non-ADOS. I'm just not moved by the trailer. I think they didn't pick the right actress, me personally. That's just me personally. But this is the problem I have. Now, by definition, I'm ADOS. Again, by definition, I'm ADOS. And I'm not going to get into systematics and you know, my family, my ancestors came over here as, again, I don't have time for the word games. As slaves, prisoners of war, whatever you want to call it. I mean, by definition, I'm ADOS. I agree that there is a debt owed by the U.S. government to the descendants of ADOS. Period. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you. There is a check that is owed. There is a debt that is owed to the descendants of ADOS. I agree. There's a check that is owed. Now, this is the problem I have. Some people are saying that we shouldn't get a check, that money should be invested in schools and all this stuff. Nah, run me my money. Run me my check. Because I don't trust anybody who, the money's gonna go here, we're gonna invest it into this. There was a study done the other day. There was an article released how Baltimore is misusing their grant money. So all this, let's build this here in America. Let's implement this special program for ADOS. Just run me my money. Give me my check. Let me control my own destiny. All the other stuff, I don't want to hear it. Just run me my check. Give me my money. One thing I'm not going to do, and this is what I'm starting to notice with this Harriet Tubman situation. At the end of the day, who is cutting the check for the movie? Guarantee you the company who's cutting the check for the movie is probably white owned, white Jewish owned. But we're mad that a non-ADOS person is playing in a role that ADOS is not cutting the check. One thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to start going to white people, or just we'll say non-black people, and telling them and begging them not to give a job to the African or to the non-ADOS. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. How do I feel like how do I look like going to white people and saying, hey, Mr. White man, Mr. White woman, can you please give us the job and not the non-ADOS the job? I'm not doing it. Part of the reason why we've had all this time to build our own industry. And don't give me the, black folks ain't got no money. There's black people with money, period. Yes, we're not all doing good, but there's black people with money. Instead of building our own industry, our own movie industry, we chose not to. We chose not to. But then when Nigeria was doing Nollywood, we would laugh at it. When Nigeria was doing their own thing in Nollywood, we laughed. Oh, that shit ain't Hollywood. Low budget. Again, when Nigeria was doing their own thing in Nollywood, we laughed. Because we thought we had a special and secured position in white Hollywood. Now it's backfiring. Let's just keep it real. We thought we had we thought we had job security in white Hollywood. And now it's backfiring. Now we're mad. So now we want to go to white people and beg them to not give the roles to the Africans. How stupid does that look? I'm just saying. Again, are we owed a check? Yes, by the government. Absolutely. Should there be some set asides on a government level? Okay, yeah, for ADOS, I agree. But going to going to Hollywood and demanding that white dominated Hollywood doesn't hire the African that hires us, I can't do it. It's nonsense. I can't do it. It's hustling instead of building your own. Because I mean, black people got money. Let's stop it. Black people got money. So instead of building your own, you want to beg white Hollywood, racist as that, to give ADOS the jobs and not the African. To me, that's hustling backwards. And guys, hit that like button. As you come to the chat room, please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Please hit that like button. Thank you, Black Sunrise. The amount of money we spend on hair, weave, nails, phone posits, Jordans. I got a pair of Dapper Dans myself. Mercedes. Let's see here. What else? The new J's drop. Line is wrapped around the building. Black Friday. Go. In fact, do this. It's hot outside. If you're in Atlanta, go to Lenox Mall on a Saturday. So I don't want to hear the black folks ain't got no money argument. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the black folks ain't got no money. I mean, you go to Lenox Mall, you go to Phibbs Mall in Atlanta, you go to the Beverly Center in Atlanta. A black person will have a Louis Vuitton bag, and I mean, it's like he made it. He has two Louis Vuitton bags, one in each hand, a Gucci bag, and he just swinging them things through the mall, just swinging them, just skipping through the mall, just skipping through the mall, whistling, just whistling and skipping through the mall. I'm serious. Go to Lenox Mall, go to the Beverly Center, and go to Phibbs Mall in Atlanta, and peep out black people when they go into the Louis Vuitton store or the Gucci store, and how they are when they come out with them bags versus a white person. I'm dead serious. A white person goes in, they get their stuff, they just walk out. A black person is like, I've made it. They gotta announce that they got the Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. They gotta announce it. I mean, they do a whole, they will go, listen, stop the show. Stop the show. They were literally go to the Louis store, go to the Gucci store, go to the Prada store, get their stuff, have all their bags, do a lap around the mall. I mean, they will walk around the whole entire mall twice. Walk around the whole mall twice. Just to let you know that they just left the Gucci store and the Louis Vuitton store. And they will skip, be loud as hell, big ass fucking low shades on, loud as hell, loudest in the mall. Brag about it, put it on Instagram. They Instagram live in the Louis Vuitton store. Cry if the salesperson in Louis Vuitton store is racist. Cry about it. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I had to stop going to the mall. Only time I would go to the mall when I worked in corporate America, I would go to like H&M or Express because I had to wear suits every day. So I would go to like H&M or Express to get a suit. You know, what I mean, I ain't about to do a whole lap around the mall with a damn H&M bag or Express bag. They ain't. I mean, come on now. So I would go to the. I knew exactly where to park. So like Lenox Mall, they got the department stores. They got the Macy's, Bloomingdale. So I knew exactly. I would park strategically by the specific department store. So I could go cut into the department store because I ain't going through the food court. Because in Lenox Mall, you go through the food court, they selling dope, prostitution, all types of just wild shit goes on in the food court at Lenox Mall now. So I would park by like Bloomingdale's, cut through Bloomingdale's. Then I knew that Express was right there. Get my stuff and leave. Sometimes when I would go to the Beverly Center, like the first time I went to LA just to check it out, like I started to notice this. Like I literally started to notice the minute when black folks went into these high-end um, European designer stores, you will watch the white person when they get their stuff and exited versus the black person when they got their stuff and exited. Like literally once, like when I went to the mall, like so I had only two. These were my objectives when I went to the mall. So back in the day, I would go to the mall to holler at females. Like I wasn't buying shit. I was just going to the mall to get phone numbers and get at, and spit. When I was going to the mall and my sole purpose was to shop, I would literally go to the store I needed to go to, which was usually because again, I had to get a suit because of my job. Like literally, I had to get a suit because of my job. So I would go to it was either H&M or Express or sometimes Zara. I would go there, get my stuff, and leave. If I was hungry, sometimes I would go to the food court. But yeah, I'm just telling you, black folks got money. I'm saying all this money we spend, and guys, if you want to hop in, let me put my email in the chat room. Guys, please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Okay, Wilkins, are you the same dude from Ghana yesterday? Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Wilkins. I'm about to send you the link. And I'm not saying you can't have nice things. I mean, I got nice stuff. I mean, seriously, I got nice stuff. I got something parked, real nice. I mean, I got nice stuff. But and that's why I don't use the black folks ain't got no money excuse. Because we got it. We just spend it on the wrong shit. Yeah, we just spend it on the wrong shit. Yeah, Nigerians ordering pizza from London, British Airways. Yeah, that's crazy too. But at the end of the day, Nigeria has Nollywood. At the end of the day, Nigeria has Nollywood. Black America has. Okay, so I mean, I understand, I get it. Yeah, Nigerians ordering pizza from London. Yeah, some BS. But hey, again, the subject is, why we as ADOS, black people, whatever you want to call it, why we have to go to white people and beg them to not give Africans the job. And that's just so self-defeating. And I don't understand why people can't see that. That's so self-defeating. So yeah, I mean, you're right. You do have Nigerians who order pizza from the UK and ship it back to Lagos. You do have that. But Nigeria has Nollywood. BT
Yeah.
is owned by Viacom. What's up, brother?
How are you doing today, Mr. Amir?
I'm doing good. You're kind of buffled a little bit, but go ahead.
Fortunately, we don't have the as good of internet as I'm sure you do, but we're getting better every day. Um, I'm gonna reference back to actually our previous conversation because I believe a lot of your frustrations that you're bringing up is understandable, and believe me, I share those same frustrations with, in particular, our people. And what I need all of everyone on this call to understand, as well as you, Amir, which I have a feeling you do understand, the root cause of all of these issues has everything to do with our own self perception, right? So, as I was trying to say before, but I don't think I was able to articulate, most black people, and that's the United States, and I would say all over the world. I've traveled all over the world. I've lived in different parts of the world. We all have the exact same issues, the exact same problems, which is this desperation for acceptance. And the reason that we desire to be accepted is because of the fact that we're rejected, right? And we're educated our entire lives through educational systems and the Western world, Latin America, and even in Africa, that we haven't done anything. That the only thing we've ever been were slaves, and the only thing we have any only value we could add to society is that of being an athlete or an entertainer, because that's what we're so told every single day. And so we don't know our own history, right?
And I understand that. I mean, we created the stoplight. I mean, with the gas oven.
Right.
I mean, I mean, it's so many inventions, but it's just again, when I go to the black person, the average African American, I'm like, I'm going to Africa. Well, Dennis, they want to be us anyway, and I'm like, what?
Well,
They want our swag. I'm like, you think I enjoy going to Africa, and you think I want to see Negroes sagging their pants?
well, let me say this,
Are
and
we
and
playing
here,
trap music? Why
after
why
I say,
can't we bring up the inventions, and why do we just want to limit ourselves to hip hop and soul food?
because, and this is fairly simple, because that is the form of acceptance, that the only areas when we do that we get acceptance. Let me put it to you in a simple way. Have you ever read the book by Francis Fon called Black Skins, White Mask? It's a very important book. Have you ever read it?
I think I might even have it, but go ahead.
I would advise you to read it. If you haven't, I would advise everybody on this chat to read it as well. Francis Fon died too early at 36, but he wrote this book. In this book, he defined the oppression oppressor relationship. Okay, so what we are in, black people, and this includes Africans, and I'm going to explain to you why Africans have certain advantages over us. But right now, I'm going to just say Africans because we all have the same disease. We are stuck in what's called an oppressed relationship. What when you're in that relationship, you the oppressed person, right? What all you're seeking from the oppressor is just acceptance. You want them to accept you. So if the oppressor says change your hairstyle, make it more like us, that's what you do. That's why in the 1950s and 60s, 70s, even in 80s, black men would put chemicals in their hair to have more slick back hair. And to this day, women wear weaves and wigs and all that other stuff. Because what they say, if you do that, you'll get more acceptance. They say, talk a certain way, you'll get more acceptance. Dress a certain way, get more acceptance. And so we on our side, we do exactly that. We do exactly what we think is going to get us the acceptance that we're desperately seeking, right? The oppressed, the oppressor, the way they oppress the oppressed is by never giving them that acceptance. The first thing black people truly need to understand, and that includes myself, is that white people will never accept you under any circumstances. It doesn't matter how much Gucci you buy, Louis Vuitton you buy, how many Bentleys you buy, how many private jets you buy. It just doesn't matter. They are never going to accept you. And why will they never accept you? Again, that's back in the book, Francis Ford, because they envy you. I need you to, for a moment, everybody on this chat, to just for a moment try to put yourself in a white person's shoes, especially if you're a white man. If you're a white man, you're insecure in your position. You know that black men are bigger, taller, faster, stronger than you. You know that they're genetically superior to you in every conceivable way, which is why you study their melanin. You know that that if they eat healthy, they'll live longer than you. You know that their genetic material is dominant, meaning that that nature proclaims their superiority to you because of the fact whenever you reproduce with them, nature gives the child, the offspring, more of their genetic material than it does you, right? So if you're in this position, you have all these resources. You have this other group of men in particular, and women, but we'll focus on men for the sake of this conversation. And you know that on an equal playing field, you will never, ever win. And if you need evidence of that, it's important that most black people understand that before that black people not only conquered the entire European peninsula, but ruled it for 1,000 years. That black people civilized white people out of the Dark Ages. And even at the height of white antiquity, which would be the Roman Empire, Romans, Greeks, and Greeks all sent their best scholars to Africa to be educated. That we were the first astronomers, we were the first scientists, we were the first doctors, that we were performing brain surgery for thousands of years, that Imhotep understood that the heliocentric model, meaning the sun's the center of the universe, 4,000 years before Galileo did, and that for a long time, we're talking thousands of years, the global standard of beauty for men was the black man, and for women was the black woman, right? Because when you see a tall, dark-skinned black woman with big, puffy hair like Erykah Badu, she looks like a goddess, right? If you see her, tall, beautiful, perfect skin that glimmers in the sun. This was an admiration for thousands of years, not a few hundred like the white empire, which is only 500 years old. We're talking for thousands of years. So this is ingrained. This is a genetic meme within the white man that they look at you and they cannot stand you, but they can't take their eyes off of you.
Say that again.
Right?
I'm gonna tell you what Dr. York says. So Dr. York says, why every time I'm in Jamaica, the white man's in Jamaica? Why every time, here we go, I'm in Ghana, the white man's in Ghana?
Because they admire us.
Did he say because he loves you?
Exactly. He does love you. Think about this when you were a kid. And you're a dashingly handsome guy. When you were a kid, you probably had a whole bunch of girls who would make fun of you and bully you, didn't you? When you were a little bit smaller and they were a little bit bigger than you, right? Well, all those girls liked you, didn't they? It's no different than what white people do to black people, and they particularly do this to black men. We are the biggest threat to their position. Now, this is not a conspiratorial statement. Anybody who does any real research understands this. Every great empire, the next empire copies from the previous one. This is normal. This is not fast. Some people will say, oh, the white man stole everything. No, it's very common for the next empire to steal from the previous empire, right? So the first great empire was Kemet. It lasted for 6,000 years. The next great empire was the Arab Empire, which used a lot of blacks for it, and it lasted 1,000 years. And then the next empire after that is the European Empire that's only is going to have lasted a pretty paltry and sad 500 years, right? And the only empire that didn't steal from anybody, is the Chinese empires, and that's just because they were so far away, right? And they're about to steal from the Europeans with their new empire that's coming up. So it's common. But what people need to understand is almost all the foundational stuff from the religions, the great Abrahamic religions, to the concept of pillars, to how we construct things, all came from our first empire, which was Kemet, which was the longest lasting, most powerful, and richest empire that's ever existed. So what you have to understand is, deep within the white consciousness is the reality and the acknowledgement that we are better than them in every conceivable way. Now, if you're a group of people, a white person, put yourself in a white person's shoes, and you come from an environment with minimal resources where you had to do war constantly just to survive and fight for minimal resources, because that's where they come from, right? Your primary motive is going to be survival. It's not going to be justice. It's not going to be truth. It's simply going to be survival. If black men in particular were simply as economically empowered as white men, how long do you think the white race would exist? How quickly do you think white women, given that they have a choice between the vanilla white man that they have over the bigger, stronger, more physically attractive and genetically superior black man who has just as much economics, who do you think she's going to choose?
Bro, it's like, bro, you can see that if you go to any major football, if you go to any college campus with a major football team, you view it.
The truth, the reality of the world testifies to the fact that it happens even though we don't have proper economics, right? Now, take that and scale that up if we are economically empowered. But then in addition to this, we're talking about this on an individual. This is small-minded level. Now, let's just go ahead and say that Africa was united and empowered. You understand that Africa currently holds 80% of the world's platinum, 60% of the world's gold, 20% of the world's oil, 80% of the world's coltan, 70% of the world's bauxite. You understand that Africa would literally be able to say to Europe, we're just not going to sell you anything and destroy their entire economy within 36 months? That's the threat that black people pose to white people, right? So if you're a white person and you're trying to survive, you're going to do everything you can to suppress that group of people. Not because you're racist against them. It's not about racism. I know a lot of us say it's about racism, but that's distraction. It's about economics. Black people are a huge economic threat to white people. And in addition to that, they're a huge survival threat to white people. So what do white people do? They can't, the best way to control somebody is to control their mind. So they dangle this idea of acceptance to you and say, if you have money, if you have this, then we'll accept you. If you consume, we'll accept you, knowing that they'll never accept you because they never do. And then they put out leaders in front of you that you're supposed to follow, like Steve Harvey and Oprah, and you admire them, but those people are completely controlled by them.
Absolutely.
And so then they give you these ideas like feminism, as if black men are oppressing black women. It's not happening. But there are a lot of black women who really believe that because they're easily manipulated, because they think that if I'm a feminist, then I'll be accepted by white women. And so they destroy their own situation. To create black men and black women divided, to keep light-skinned, the dark-skinned dichotomy going, to keep black Americans divided from African Americans. And then nobody even thinks about where the majority of the black diaspora is, which is the Afro-Latino community. Until Amala Negra
in Brazil.
Exactly. There's 100 million black people in Brazil. Half of the population of Colombia is black. Let me put it to you in another way. If black people were to unite right now, do you understand that we would obviously take all of Africa, but then we would control the entire Caribbean, we would control half of South of America without firing a single shot. We have a 200 million person diaspora. That's the largest diaspora on the planet. So it is an interest of the powers that be to keep you divided, to keep you uneducated, and to tell you things like, oh, you don't want to be with the Africans, and tell Africans that these people are criminals, which is why the solution is the same solution that I told you the last time I was on, is for us to seize control of our education system. Because white women should not be educating black children. That is a conflict of interest. Why would you trust the oppressor to teach your child how to obtain his own liberation? Did you know, and this is a fact for everybody on the chat, did you know that up until third grade, the best performing boys in America are black boys? Did you know that?
Up until the third grade.
Up until the third grade in the United States, and this is also the case in England, that the best performing students up until third grade are black boys. Right after that, going into fourth grade, the numbers drop precipitously to almost pathetic levels. So what that proves to me is the issue is not a matter of our ability to learn. It is the atmosphere in which we are learning. That atmosphere is not designed such that we will succeed. And then especially if you're telling children that that you only start their history in 1619 and tell them that they came here as slaves, and then you deny them the thousands of years of history before that, And then every time you show them an image of themselves, there is always some deficiency. I'll give you an example. There was a movie that came out recently called The Green Book about one of the greatest black classical artists that ever lived. This guy was truly brilliant. He was a man named Don Shirley. You should go see it. They made that man look as pathetic as they possibly can, and that he needed this uneducated white Italian to save them. And they made him seem like he was gay when Don Shirley was not gay at all. They just added that in there. Don Shirley intentionally went to the South knowing he would be harassed, but he did it to represent his people and to show his and to perform to inspire his people. He was actually a hero. He was a revolutionary. But what did they show him as is this pathetic black man who was getting beat up and harassed by white people and who needed a white savior. They will always do that to you. They will always put some flies into your perfume. They will always remind you that you need them to save you. Because at the end of the day, they need you thinking that you need them. It's like a pimp and a whore. And in this particular relationship, we're the whores. The whore doesn't need the pimp. The whore thinks that he needs the pimp. You get it? So what needs to happen is we need to take control of our own education system to re-Africanize us. I hear a lot of black people saying we ought to go back to Africa and start our own state. And I'm saying, no, that's the worst thing we can do. I'm saying we should go back to Africa and integrate into our original culture. Almost a majority of black ADOS came from literally 4 countries. You could go to any one of those countries right now.
Let me guess. Nigeria, Benin Republic, Angola, and Congo.
Not Angola, but it would be Congo, Nigeria, Ghana, actually, Benin Republic to a very small extent, and then Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. But a majority of us all come from there. And actually, the Congo would actually not apply to United States at blacks. That would apply more so to blacks in Latin America. That is where most of us come from. So my recommendation to black people, and that includes myself, which is what I've done, so I'm a living testimony of this, is you go back and you reintegrate into your own culture. Now, why do Africans have so much advantage over us? Because they suffer from the same disease. The fundamental difference between the African and us is, to a certain extent, a very limited one. But a certain extent, Africans at least know who they are. So of course they're going to outperform you. Do you want to know the top performing, the highest earning immigrant group in the United States? Nigeria. Guess what? It's not Indians. Nigeria. It's Africans.
Well, to be specific, Nigerians.
Nigerians, yes. So why is it that black people from Africa, wherever we go, we succeed when we just know a little bit of our culture? Now imagine what we could do if we knew the full extent of who the fuck we are. We would be the most dominant, most unstoppable social force, and things would be correct. Because here's the thing. I think deep down inside, every race knows that we're the dominant race. And I know I sound like a racist here, but here's my evidence. We are the most lowly, most impoverished group, racial group everywhere we go. And yet everyone duplicates everything we do. We are the tastemakers of society. Do you understand that Ghana produces a car called Kintanka?
Right.
Jay-Z, Kanye West, just those two, that would be enough. If Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Beyonce started putting Kintanka motors in all of their cars, do you know what would be the #1 selling car within 5 years? Kintanka. Right? We don't need them. We just think that we need them. We believe that we need them. They have conditioned the mind of the black man to believe that he needs their approval. The moment we stop believing that is the moment they start to die. And I'm not saying we should go out there and commit genocide and kill them and take our revenge. There's no need to do that. It would happen naturally because we would take all their women. Mm-hmm. But once we take all their women, the men die. We would be able to completely dominate them. And the reality is everybody wants to follow us anyway. The world wants to follow Africans. They just need Africans to follow themselves. Mm. So I understand your frustration.
And my thing is, bro, as far as, I was talking to Brother Kala about this earlier today. My thing, as far as the whole nation building thing, like we already technically have Liberia.
Yeah. Again, the people who are saying that the fact that I understand that they're what I would call almost theirs. They almost get it, but they don't quite. The fact that they want to build a nation means that they somehow feel that they're superior to Africans, rather than just integrating into their own into the African community, because they actually do have a negative viewpoint of African society. It shows that that Europeanization is still deeply ingrained within them. But if we're going to be 100% honest, and I know this will offend many people on this chat, the person with actual superior culture is the Africans. Compared to every other culture in the world, excluding the Chinese, I exclude the Chinese in this, every other culture is a baby. African culture is 60,000 years old. Everything comes from African culture. Okay? European culture that we seem to think is modern or whatever else, it is a bastardized child of our culture. The Arabs, they are a bastardized version of our culture. The only original culture that exists out there is the Chinese because of their isolation. Before that, we dominated the world and everyone around us. And everyone copied us, copied our educational format, the way we dress, the way we talk, and they're still doing that to this day. The world testifies of history by the fact that Chinese kids and Korean kids all over the world still want to dress like us, talk like us, and listen to our music. The world testifies to our greatness by the fact that the Chinese are using hip hop to go ahead and govern their people. The Russians too. The world testifies to our greatness in that everything we say and do, everybody else wants to say and do it. People wear tattoos all over their body because of Lil Wayne. That's how much the world testifies to our greatness. The only problem is we don't know that.
No, I think some of us know, but it's just, again, we're so content here in America.
We're not content. If Black Americans are really content in America, if they're really content in America, as you say, and I refuse to believe this because I'm Black American, then we deserve all the suffering that we're receiving because we're too stupid to set ourselves free. And if you're too dumb,
bruh, exactly.
I don't believe we're content. I believe we're misinformed. I refuse to concede this concept bro, listen, I'm 32 years old. Okay. All right. I know I look old, but I'm young.
How do you think
based off of your facial structure, your muscle tone, you're probably in your mid 30s, 35, 36.
Yeah, I'm 35, but go ahead.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is I've gone through this. I remember the times in my life where I wanted to wash my skin off to make myself more white. I remember the times in my life where I would put shampoo in my afro to try to make myself look like I have slick back hair. I remember these times.
Afro.
Yeah, before I went bald, I used to, have an afro. I used to try. I would put when I'm showering. This is when I was a kid. When I'm showering, my hair would get wet, and I would put shampoo in it. And for that temporary moment, I would wash out the shampoo. It would look like it's slicked back. And I remember I would not want to wash out the shampoo out of my hair because it looked slicked back, and I wanted to look like the white people on TV.
Uh-huh.
You're educated this way, man. I mean, this is not 100% Black Americans' fault. You're educated this way. You're taught this, man, in your schools and TV. It's all white. I mean, and then not to mention we worship a white Jesus, which is a bastardized version of our own religion. But man, do you know how few Black people know that the very first image ever made of Jesus is that of a Black man? People have no idea that Jesus, the caricature of Jesus, whether he was real or not, was at the very least positioned as a Black man. And for hundreds of years, white people worshipped a black Madonna and a Black Jesus. And the concept of the child, the father, and the mother came from our ancient Kemetic religion of the child, the mother, and the father, which really just simply means that we should treat every woman as if she's the mother of a god. We should treat every man as if he's a god. We should treat every child as if he's the son. He's the children of gods, right? That is what our original belief system. And of course, Europeanized it and created Christianity and resold it back to us. And we were susceptible to it because it's our own religion, right? But we have no idea about these realities, man. When you don't know, you're going to go based off of what you know. And once you Europeanize the mind of the Negro, it's very hard to get it back. And so what I would say, the solution is simple. I believe that the very few of us who are aware, people like you, Dynas, you make some sufficient money from this, people like myself, all of us who have a little bit of money, we should pull that together and we should create our own educational system and start homeschooling our kids. Let me tell you something, man. I remember looking for homeschool, Afrocentric homeschool, online homeschool platform. It doesn't exist. There is no online Afrocentric homeschool platform. They're all white.
Well, there's okay. So you got Dr. Cabone, and then you got another brother. What's his name? He's in Ghana too. He coaches the basketball team. Has dreads. Has braids. Wears glasses. Oh man, what's his name? I had him on the show before.
Well, Dr. Gabone's school is not online. It's not an online school. Okay, it's you have to physically be in Ghana to attend his school. And he has
Kamali Academy. That's a brother. No, that's not.
Again, that's not online. Mm-hmm. What I would say is, if we created it on, I believe that one thing that would make a major dent in this. It wouldn't solve it completely because we wouldn't be able to get every Black person involved in it. But if we could take a school like Dr. Cabone's school, digitize it, meaning that it is an online school format from K to 12. Where it's accessible anywhere in the world, and you could just simply homeschool your children through that format, where your children could learn their history, they could learn an African tongue, because, by the way, your first language dictates the way you think. So the fact that you and I are speaking English right now, almost in many ways, debilitates us as Africans, because we weren't meant to speak English. We were meant to speak our African tongue. The way you think gets formulated by your original language.
Let me go. Just kind of, I'm not trying to trip you up, but let me give you.
You can ask me whatever you'd like. I'm here. I feel like you have a.
Brother, how do we integrate? Because Africa is so tribal, and they got different tribes.
That's a great question, and it's actually not nearly as difficult, because you have to understand why they're tribal. They're tribal because of constant propaganda. Now, what you should also understand is, if you go to Africa now, the generation that is super tribal is the generation before us, our parents.
True,
right? But our generation, you and me, are not tribal, because there's been a new form of propaganda through YouTube. There are guys that we ought to support, people like yourself, people like Word of Maya, amongst others, who are really are helping in a very big way, as small as it may seem, but through platforms like YouTube. A lot of Africans are moving past tribalism. I believe that we've had 3 generations of leaders in the new Africa. We're talking about post-colonization Africa. The first generation was the liberation generation. They all got assassinated and replaced by Western puppets who exploited and destroyed the country. And we're talking about your Mobutus, your Idi Amins, etc. And then now we have a new generation of leaders. They're not. Alexa, stop. They're not as bad as Idi Amin, right? But they're not super good. You have a few of them that are pretty good, like you have Dr. Magufuli in Tanzania. You've got Paul Kagame in Rwanda. You have a few good ones, but overall they're all pretty mediocre, but they're better than what was before. And I believe that Africa is going to get a new group of leaders, Generation 4, and I think they're going to be a lot more like the new president in Ethiopia, Senzo Abe. I forgot his name. Not Senzo Abe. I forgot his name. It's like Abe something. It's late here. But the Ethiopian's the first to get one, and Ethiopia is growing at a rate of 10% right now. I believe we have a batch of those leaders coming for Africa, and I believe Africa's time is coming. And when Africa's time comes, Europe's time goes. Mm-hmm. The European empire goes. And let me explain something to you. 100 years from now, after the European empire has fallen, and you and I are long dead, the European empire will be looked at as one of the most pathetic, to have only lasted for a mere 600 years, when all your predecessors lasted for thousands of years. We need to start looking at time as what it is, which means that this period of time for black subjugation is very, very short. It's only about 400 years of black subjugation. It's not very long compared to the fact that we have dominated the world for thousands of years before that. And this is the Taoist in me. I believe everything goes back to order. I believe Africa will rise and the natural order of the world will return back to the way it's supposed to be. But if we want to hasten that process, I believe that what we ought to do is go to people like Dr. Cabone and say, look, we're going to put $250,000, $300,000 behind you. We want you to take your school. We want you to make it a digital format so that people could go online and learn it. And we're going to make it available in Portuguese, French, English, and Spanish, so that people in Latin America can access that school, people in the French-speaking countries could access that school, people in English-speaking countries could access that school, and people in Portuguese-speaking countries could access that school. And I believe within 1 or 2 generations, when you have a confident, self-believing African and African-American, if you want to make that distinction, I believe the world changes immediately. We only need to seize control of what is rightfully ours. The world follows us. The world may look down on us because of our perception of poverty, but they follow us. You go to China, because I've been to China many, many times for business reasons, and everybody thinks I'm the coolest guy in the world, and I'm a nerd. Listen to my voice. I'm clearly a nerd. I'm not like you. You're actually cool. You got all the tattoos and muscles and shit. I go to China, I'm still considered cool, right? No, I'm just being direct, right? I mean, I'm a pretty awesome guy. I'm ridiculously intelligent, so I've got some things going for me. But hey, you would be the cool black guy, right? In stereotypical means. And I go everywhere. I'm treated like a god because they think I'm the coolest guy in the world because I'm black, just because I'm black. While you might, now we're talking about the youth and the women. The men might look at me with a negative hue because they're jealous of me. The women look at me like I'm God. And this is everywhere you go. You go to Colombia, these white-looking Medellin-based Colombian women, they literally worship black men. Worship. They will throw themselves at you because they want to get with you. They want to be with you. That's how worshipped we are. We just need to seize what is ours. And the deep in the souls of everybody on the planet, we are gods and goddesses. The only person who doesn't know it is us. When I was in college, I played football. Okay, I'm a big guy. I played football. I was a defensive tackle, 3rd string defensive tackle. I used to be able to tell women, white women on campus, bitch, come here. And you know what they would do?
bro, listen. All right, in my half cooning days when I was at the University of Georgia, the same thing.
I'm not even a star. Okay, like the white boys couldn't do that. Them white boys tell a woman, hey, bitch, come here. Hey, who are you talking to? And he's on the football team. And he can't say that, but I can. I can say, hey, bitch, come here. And guess what? Her ass is coming here. Hey, fuck my friend. Okay, because we're gods.
Hey, bro, where you go to college at?
Baylor University.
Oh, you went to Baylor. Okay, so you were at Baylor with Robert Griffin.
I was there for 1 year. His freshman year, I was leaving. But yes. Because we were gods. Now, never mind what Robert Griffin was able to do, by the way. I mean, we're talking about me, a nobody. Right. Relative to everybody else, I was a nobody. Because we're gods. And white people know we're gods. Do you know how many white women I have had tell me, oh, I would love to have a baby by a black man? You know how many white men tell me if a black woman would give me a chance, it would be so great, I just don't think I could handle it? You know how many Asian men have told me that, man, black women are so beautiful, I just don't think I can handle all of that? Mm-hmm. We're gods to them, man. The only people who don't realize it is us. We could make Africa the coolest place on the planet if we wanted to. We could make African garb the standard of style if we wanted to. All we got to do is wear it. That's it. Just wear it. Wear it in our music videos, wear it in our concerts, and guess what? Everybody's going to be wearing African garb. The problem is we don't know the reality of things, and those who do know are too afraid to say it and are too afraid to walk it because they think that somebody will kill them. It's a combination of fear and ignorance, and I believe both of those things get solved if we conquer our educational system. I believe we can make Nollywood the most popping movie industry on the planet. We have Ava DuVernays. We've got some of the most talented actors.
They in Hollywood.
Yeah, but we could co-opt them. What I'm saying to you is, do you know how many, like a person like Monique, who just got blackballed, that is an incredibly talented woman.
Cheers.
Incredibly funny. What if do you know what would happen if Monique knew, hey, I could go to Nollywood, I've got a 1.2 billion person audience, I'll make plenty of money in Nollywood. And if Hollywood knew that too, you think they're blackballing her? No, they're not. But Monique doesn't even know that. She doesn't know that Hollywood.
They don't find the value in it, man. I don't know why. I don't know
Because
why.
it is
I don't understand why black people in America who complain so much about racism, so much about this, are not seeking opportunities in Africa to build. I don't get it.
Not educated, my brother. This is an educate. It is on purpose. It is intentional. You have to understand this. Public school, okay? The concept of public school officially was given was credited to the Prussians in 1710. Of course, I don't believe that. I believe the Communities were offering public school for thousands of years, but let's just use white history for fun for a moment. 1710, Prussia instituted the concept of public school. By 1825 or 1845, public school was mandatory all throughout Europe and the Americas. But the entire purpose of public school is not to educate you, man. The entire purpose of education, public school education, is to indoctrinate you.
Let me read this real quick to you. Black 10-year-old charged after white kid hit with the. Brother, do you have any earphones by chance?
I don't.
Okay, I don't want to. It's an echo, but
I can mute myself if you'd like.
Yeah,
let me mute myself.
Let me mute yourself real quick. Okay. Black 10-year-old charged after white kid. This is July 29th, 2019. This is in Detroit. Black 10-year-old charged after white kid hits with a dodgeball, but hit while playing dodgeball. The mother of the child is speaking out. Black children can't even play without the threat of being charged with the crime. A 10-year-old is facing criminal charges after a white kid was hit with a ball while playing dodgeball. According to the Detroit TV station WXYZ TV, 10-year-old son Bryce has been charged with aggravated assault. On April 29th at Ruth Erickson Elementary in Canton, Michigan, kids were playing dodgeball, a police report claims. Another student was struck in the face with the ball. That student's mother asked that we not use her or her son's name, but told 7 Action News he has a medical condition that makes head injuries especially dangerous. So why is he playing dodgeball then? The police report filed after the incident stated Lindley intentionally threw the ball at the boy's face. Yeah, it's fucking dodgeball. These kids are basically playing a game we all have played. Kamishi Lindley, Bryce's mother, said, I couldn't believe it. This is a kid that was playing on the playground with his friends. The parent of the white child who chose to remain anonymous claims the child has been targeted and he has medical condition. They allegedly suffered a concussion. The mother of the child who was injured said, my son was hit twice in the face with the ball previously due to this. The child apologized to my son and my son said, my mom, it's okay. We're still going to be friends. He had a black eye and a bruised nose. The parents are the ones who pressed charges. Bryce's son was suspended from school for 1 day, and his mother had no idea about the other child being targeted, nor was she or her son aware of the medical condition. I'm unaware of any of these situations. I'm sorry that her child got hurt. I'd be sorry for any child that got hurt. The mother's asking for help with legal fees. If you would like to donate, click here. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and donate. Let me get this link. Oh, you gotta mute yourself, brother.
You know, this type of thing doesn't surprise me, and this type of thing is going to continue to happen. As a matter of fact, it's going to get worse because something is happening right now to the white psyche that is going to get very dangerous, man. And I'm going to explain to you why. And for you to understand why white people do what they do, you really have to try to understand white people and where they come from. Again, always remember that the number one priority for white people is survival. It's not truth. It's not justice. It's survival. As a matter of fact, right, white people are afraid of justice. Because if there's justice in the world, that means they don't exist anymore, right? So deep down inside, what motivates and drives them is survival. And what's happening right now throughout the world is the white race is dying. Okay? The United States just recently hit record low birth rates. The only people who were holding up the birth rate for a long time was our black and brown, us black people and Latinos, because we use and our black people have fallen into the same dumb shit that Europeans have, and they've stopped having a lot of kids because there used to be a time where a black family would have 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, which is a good thing because black women, which shows our superiority, black women are the most fertile women on the planet. Period. Nobody will get pregnant as easy as a black woman, and nobody can bear more children naturally than a black woman. But we have bought into the idea of, oh, we should have as few children as possible and all this bullshit. And of course, we keep aborting our own kids with these Planned Parenthood clinics, which it happens to be, I think something like 70% of them are in impoverished black neighborhoods. How ironic. But we we fall for a lot of stuff. But again, America's birth rate is at record lows. It's below replacement level for the first time in its history. Europe has been below replacement level for at least one generation now. The white race is literally dying. And they're being replaced by black and brown people. While the rest of the world is having problems having kids, do you know where the average female is still having 4 and 5 kids? Our mother continent, Africa. Mm-hmm. By 2030, there's going to be 2.1 billion Africans. By the end of the century, there will be 4 billion Africans. We will be 40% of the world's population. The great replacement is well underway, and that is changing the economic reality for white people. Now, white people, what's happening is when you're a survivor-based society or you're a survivor-based group of people, any situation where you have less resources and less control of resources is perceived as a threat to you. And white people are losing control of resources, right? And so when you're losing control of resources, what therefore happens is you start feeling insecure because you are insecure of your position in the first place. And so you're going to see more murders of black men on the street. You're going to see more discrimination of black boys in schools. You are going to see more of it. It will get worse. So if you think it's bad now, it is going to get much worse for black people, especially in white-dominated societies. And if for example, a person like myself and a person like you and the people like us, if we really care about our people, then we need to take control of the situation and at the very least make proper education available. And we need to support. There are things that white people are proposing that we as black people, because of our political ignorance, don't know is in our best interest. Like the abolishment of abortion, that is in our best interest, in black people's best interest. Another thing that's in black people's best interest is school choice, charter schools, homeschooling. Black people in America need to be behind that legislation because that's going to benefit us. That means we can seize control of the education of our own children. And what I would recommend as many black people as possible do, not every black person will do it because of the fact that there's a lot of scared black people out there, man. Let's just keep it real. There's a lot of black people who love themselves, some Oprah and Steve Harvey, okay, who are going to listen to what these people say. But we just need enough, even if it's 10% of the black population, that is enough, that we could seize control of the education of our own children, seize control of the media that they watch. We don't let them watch everything that's on TV that indoctrinates them to hate themselves. And we raise confident black children, in particular, confident black men. I believe if we did that, that would be enough to spark a revolution within the next 25 to 30 years that will allow us to finally liberate ourselves. The fact is, complaining about it won't do anything because, look, you have to understand that everything you just said is very similar to stuff that Francis Baldwin was saying when he was alive. That was the 1960s. And what Francis Baldwin was saying was very similar to what Frederick Douglass was saying when he was alive. That was the 1910s and 1920s. Our black intellectuals have figured out the same thing that I'm telling you and that you're saying for well over 100 years. But it never gets implemented because what happens is it gets talked about for a little while. and then we just forget about it. You see reparations and how everybody's saying cut the check? Let me tell you about what's going to happen with reparations. Mark my words.
Go ahead.
Nothing. And I'm going to explain how it's going to happen. What's going to happen here is, first of all, you need to remember the reparations conversation has come up again, and it wasn't even brought up by black people. It was brought up by Marianne Williamson, who proposed $100 million. And black people the black American population was so unprepared for the conversation that we literally were busy fighting amongst ourselves as to what reparations would look. We still don't have a reparations plan. Ironically enough, there was a reparations plan written by Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam. I forgot his name, in 1960, called the Plan for Black People, which we could have just dusted off. But most of us didn't even know that existed. So we're sitting there fighting like, how much should it? We had no fucking idea. A white woman had to bring it up for us to even start thinking. But wait a minute, we could get reparations. We wanted reparations.
You said Carnell. Are you talking about as far as politicians?
Yeah, where it was actually something that, because Cornel West has been talking about reparations for years. We've had our intellectuals talk about it. Ta-Nehisi Coates talked about it as well. What I'm saying is black people actually taking it seriously and talking about it in any serious way, and even putting political pressure on politicians. This is the first time that has ever happened, and it happened because of Marianne Williamson. And so what's going to happen is they propose a piece of legislation which is meaningless, the HR 40, which says we're going to go ahead and put together a commission about talking about reparations, which means nothing. It just means we're going to get a group of people who's going to talk about it, right? They're going to resist and drag that on for a long time, okay? And then what's going to happen is the election.
Again, we're talking about in regards to politicians, not
politicians. Us making a political movement behind it, not our intellectuals, because black intellectuals have always talked about it. I'm talking about us as black people mobilizing in a political movement and literally conditioning our vote. And that, by the way, that's not fully consolidated, but it's decent for us at this point, where we literally have conditioned our vote saying, if you don't back reparations, we're not going to vote for you, right? This is the first time we've ever done that. And in that, we're still doing it wrong. Because the only politician who has actually come up with any real reparations plan that would actually benefit us has 0% of the black vote. I have some very, very rich, very powerful friends who I'm no longer friends with anymore because of our disagreement on certain racial issues, but who I was friends with for very many years. I would call myself a reformed Negropean. I used to hang out with these people. And one of my friends emailed me the other day.
I was half cooning. Cooning.
Well, and one of my ex-friends, who I don't talk to very much, emailed me, and he said to me, why isn't black people backing Pete Buttigieg? Because the gay white dude. He may be gay and he may be white, but he's the only person with a plan. Kamala Harris doesn't have a plan. Do you know who most black people are backing in the elections right now? Joe Biden.
Yeah.
The Joe Biden who wrote the crime bill? Joe Biden.
And the reason why is because Donald Trump is racist, but Joe Biden is just racist.
Because we're completely uninformed. That's the reason why. Okay? Let's just be honest about the reality. Like, Joe Biden should not have any black support. Right? But he has the most. And the one person who comes up with a plan has none. So here's what's going to happen. Joe Biden will probably get the nomination. He may or may not.
What's he bring to the table?
Who, Joe Biden?
No, Pete Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. Go on ahead and read the Douglas plan. It's a long, very comprehensive, very detailed plan. Okay? And it's very good. We're talking about educational investments. We're talking about creating giving access to capital to black people to start businesses in their communities, access to loans for black people to own homes. I mean, it is a full, comprehensive, specifically black plan. It is the first ever by a politician, and he has 0% of the black vote. Like, how is that possible?
I mean, I'm a researcher. I mean, if it makes sense, I mean, hey, I don't care. I'll vote.
It's called the Douglas.
I'm a researcher.
And here's the problem. It's called the Douglas Plan after Frederick Douglass. And here's the issue. The fact that that is a reality, though, you need to look beyond us in this chat room. The fact that that is a reality. Do you know what every politician is going to think of black people after this? Oh, these people are idiots, which is what they think. So the other day, there was this old white woman who said to this black woman, "Oh, you stupid nigger," and everybody's up at arms. But you know what?
We're in the restaurant, right?
Yeah. But you know what? She was a stupid nigger. She's sitting there loud as hell, drawing attention to herself, filming her so she could hopefully be a victim of some racist so she can post it online. That does not help us at all. That does not benefit us at all. Right? You come into the restaurant, you eat your fucking food, you talk to your friends, you leave. Don't draw attention to yourself with a camera out trying to prove a point because you want to be the latest victim of racism. Look, there's enough real victims of racism out there. We don't need people manufacturing it so they could get some kind of clout. And I could be called a coon or whatever you want, but I'm the one. But anybody who might call me a coon, I would simply respond with this: I'm actually in Africa though,
Right.
and I'm actually opening businesses in Africa though. So I'm not saying to people that.
Hey, brother, when I come to Ghana in November, we need to connect.
Absolutely, man. As a matter of fact, man, maybe because of your incredible sales skills, one business I recently started here. This is I'm going to be very quick because this is not the topic. Is I make cashew oil and cashew butter, 100% pure organic. I bought 1,000 acres.
Oh wow! Go ahead.
I bought 1,000 acres, and out in about 6 hours past Kumasi. I haven't really started farming it, but I make cassava flour. I bought a mill. I make cassava flour. I make cassava-based feed, and then I make cashew oil, and I make cashew butter. I would try to sell cashew milk, but it spoils after 5 days, so I can't really make that. And right now, what I do is I'm trying to sell that to African people because it's really good for you and it's really healthy. And it's my ultimate goal, and in the actual cashew apple, right now we're currently trying to make it turn that into a wine, which would be a cashew-based wine, which would take about a year to actually ferment and process. But we're trying that. We'll see how it works. I'll tell you how that goes next year. And since you're such a prolific salesman, maybe you could sell the stuff. I don't really need profit. I don't really care.
If I can be honest with you, where's the product primarily? Is it Accra or is it at your farm? I mean, do you have like physical product with you in Accra, or where do you stay in Ghana?
So to answer your question, that's a very good question. I stay in Kumasi.
Okay, so listen, I will be in Kumasi in November for Aquaside.
Oh, that's great. We should definitely get together. Although I'll be honest with you, Aquaside is very overwhelming. I was at the one last year, and
this will be my third one. I'll be fine.
It's an overwhelming experience. I didn't know what the hell was going on because it was my first one, and I didn't know.
This is my third one. This will be my third one.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to get with you. And hey, man, again, I'm not looking to. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to do business or anything like that with you or anything like that. I'm simply trying to create jobs for as many Africans as I can. I'd like for us Africans to start producing a finished product. Because the best tomatoes in the world are in Africa, the best pineapples in the world are here in Africa. I mean, we could grow. I mean, my farm, my plantation is going to grow primarily cassava and cashews, because of the fact I know how to make a finished product out of those things. And I'd love to, if I could, I would love to try to, create a black-based distribution network to get black people eating cassava flour and making their bread out of cassava flour, making their tortillas out of cassava flour because it's much better for you. And I'd love to get black people to be, using cashew oil and using because cashew oil is an incredible product. It's really good for your skin, it's good for your nails, and it's good for consumption. And we want to expand into walnut oil as well as when we could figure out how to grow it, because we don't know how to grow it yet. But if I could figure out how to grow walnuts, I'd like to even make walnut oil. But so, I mean, I'll introduce you to that stuff. And if you like it, if you feel like it's a product you want to share with people, that'd be great. But let's not talk about that because that's not about it.
And real quick, police brutality, I sent you the link. All right, go ahead.
So I mean, these are the if we could solve these issues, I do believe that a lot of our issues would be solved. And I
Bro,
believe,
you're sounding real low right now.
huh?
You sound real low.
Sorry, I believe the issue to all, and I do mean all of our problems, um, is three things, man. We need control over our own education. We need to control over our own media. And I hate to say this, we need to create a propaganda campaign.
Oh,
Propaganda is
absolutely.
propaganda is not a bad word. It just means the repetitive nature of a message. The reason Black people think the way they do now is because of propaganda. And I believe that we have the mechanisms in place that exist today where we can do that. I believe we do. I believe we have the people, the educators, and it's not just Dr. Cambone and his father. We've got Runoko Rashida. We've got Dr. James Smalls, some incredible Dr. Emotep, some incredible scholars who are very well versed in this, who could create this this educational platform, and then we sell it to such a small amount of money that the poorest person in a favela in Brazil could afford to homeschool their child. We shouldn't approach this from a perspective of capitalism. We should approach it from a perspective of exciting the revolution that will be needed.
Bro, let me
liberate.
Go ahead and finish. I got a question for you. Go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
It's off topic though, but so finish your statement.
Sure, you can ask me
a question.
That's fine. Go ahead. I'm an open book.
Okay. Your with your farm that you bought, are you under like a 99-year lease or 50-year lease or whatever? Or?
Okay, so hopefully, so when I got to Ghana, I took advantage of the fact that there is some corruption, well, a lot of corruption in this country, and I explicitly took it to my advantage. And because if other Black people want to move to Ghana too, I'm going to share with you my story. What I did when I got to Ghana, and this is the best place to do this, is going to be Kumasi because of the fact
there's people asking for your info. Can I give it to them? Is that okay?
Sure, feel free. So when I got to Ghana, I moved from Ghana from Medellin, Colombia. Okay, because I lived in Colombia for many, many years. And then when I got to
you would
no, man, no, that is a highly offensive question. No, I wasn't pushing no cocaine.
I'll be ignorant. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Don't worry about it. No, at the time I went to Medellin because of my cooning days, and I just wanted to fuck a bunch of Colombian chicks. Because every time I went to Medellin, they'd throw themselves at me, and so then I just went there, and so I spent 2 or 3 years just fucking as many chicks as I can, and then I guess I left. But anyway, the point that I'm saying, I was kind of like a Viking in that way. Went in, pillaged, and then left. So when I got to, because of the fact that I've lived in Mexico, Colombia, as well as many other corrupt countries, I understand how corruption works. And corruption is not a bad thing if used properly. When I got to Kumasi, what I did is I bribed a immigration officer. Now, once I bribed that exactly what I did. I bribed an immigration officer. That immigration officer created for me a birth certificate, which I then used to apply for a passport, national ID, and driver's license. The entire package.
Okay, bro. I got to stop you right here, bro. What if all that backfires on you?
It's not. I've used it. It's 100% official. It's called an identity. People do it all the time. Chinese people do that literally all the time. Do you think Chinese people are in Ghana under their real names or under their own identities? No, they buy an identity package from a corrupt official.
Okay, so like somebody said, somebody said in that chat room, are you snitching on yourself right now?
No, because of the fact that I'm not telling you the name of which I'm under. I'm not using anything that's myself, and so it's unlikely that there's a Ghanaian official. And even if there was, I would just simply bribe him. This is Ghana, so I mean,
okay, guys. Let me give a disclaimer. We do not on Search for Who channel. We do not encourage bribery. Okay, the brothers, points and views on bribing is not. We do not agree with that here on Search for Who. Okay, go ahead.
And let me co-sign. The co-sign that bribery is bad. Don't do it. Okay, don't be like me. It's wrong to bribe, corrupt government officials. But I'm simply saying that if you wanted to get a passport, as you say, that's not particularly difficult to do. It's going to cost you about 8,000 Ghana cedis, which works out to about $1,500. That gets you a full identity package, 100% official, and you will be a Ghanaian citizen. You could even vote. And I've traveled throughout Africa under that passport. It's a real passport.
I understand, bro, but just long term.
I actually bought that land directly from a chief, which, by the way, is probably the best way to buy land. Try to avoid buying it from families, because then you're going to have a lot of disputes. If you buy it directly from a chief, you're also able to avoid land guards who are going to try to harass you when you try to build and use the property to try to extort money from you. So your best bet is going to be to buy it directly from a chief. And chiefs, they sell this land for very little. I bought my land for about 650 Ghana cedis per acre, which works out to, I mean, in total, the whole 1,000 acres cost me 650,000 Ghana cedis, which is 150,000 US dollars.
Okay.
1,000 acres of very, very lush, fertile land. And I pay workers during planting time and harvest time. That's the only time you only have to pay workers. I pay each worker the equivalent of about $5 a day to go ahead and plant and then harvest. And so right now, I'd actually like to hire more workers for processing. I'd like to hire more workers for sales. I want to hire as many people as possible so they could feed their families. But the land itself, I have permanent ownership of it because I have ownership of it as a Ghanaian citizen. If I bought it as a foreigner, then I have a 50-year lease.
I get it, but we just don't want to give people the wrong idea to go the route that you decided, and then down the road, something happens.
No, I wouldn't. I would say to others, don't do that. You know, I'm a little bit more seasoned. I've lived overseas for a very long time. I've done this many, many times. This is kind of something I do. I understand these types of things, and I've, again, my cooning days allowed me to make friends with, or kind of friends with, very wealthy people who understand how to do this type of stuff and who taught me how to do this type of stuff. I'm not going to tell some regular schmuck who works a regular job, who's got a few $1,000s in a bank, go to Ghana and spend $1,500 of your savings, to buy an identity package. I would not recommend you do that. I would do that because I understand the process of buying an identity package. I'm seasoned at this, others are not. And so I would actually discourage most people to do that.
Yeah, and guys, I definitely discourage anybody and everybody from going this route. But brother, go ahead and continue.
Okay, yeah, and I want to repeat, and if anybody contacts me asking for that information, I'm not going to give that to you because I would not want you to do something that because and you make a mistake due to lack of experience in it, and I would never allow that to happen. I have a significant amount of experience to be able to purchase the type of protection that I need to do this type of thing, and I have more resources to do this type of thing. So if you don't have the resources to acquire the protection that you're going to need, I would highly advise people to not do it and would discourage people strongly. I'm simply sharing what I did, but I have experience doing this type of thing. I want to make that very clear to everybody who is listening. But either way, if you're going to go ahead and do the 100% legal route, you're going to have a 50-year lease on the property.
What are your thoughts on this lease thing? Like, I don't get it.
Just excuse me one moment, please.
Okay. All right, shout out to Breeze Brutality.
So my view on the lease thing, I understand 100% why that legislation is in place, and it's actually good legislation. The reason that legislation exists in Ghana is because there is constant, if the African countries are not particularly vigilant on who can buy land and under what conditions, there will be constant, they have been and will continue to be constant land grabs in Africa. And it's important that you understand why, because African land is the best land, the most fertile land on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It is beyond valuable. Like the fact that I could buy an acre for 650 Ghana cedis, which is like $150, is insane because the people don't know what they're selling. That is, you can grow anything on that land. Now, I know a lot of people on this call don't know much about farming, but let me explain, give a brief lesson with farming. You cannot grow every crop in every place due to the nutritional value of the soil, the weather conditions, etc. So, for example, you can't grow vanilla, the most valuable crop in the world. Well, besides wasabi, wasabi is the most valuable. The second most valuable is vanilla. You can't grow vanilla everywhere, right? Because you need specific types of land to grow vanilla. The only place on the planet where you can grow any plant, whether that be wasabi, whether that be vanilla, whether that be corn, whether that be anything, is our continent. That makes our land the most valuable land on the planet, thus making it insanely valuable. And so if governments are not vigilant and do not put limitations on land ownership, foreigners who have more resources than the locals will buy up all the land. And governments have to prevent that, so they have to create laws and legislation to protect themselves from all their land being bought up by somebody else. And so it's actually good legislation, it's proper legislation, and I agree with it. And as a matter of fact, I think more African countries ought to be that way. I think the countries like Kenya and Rwanda that allow anybody to buy land there, I think that's dangerous, and I don't think it's smart.
Okay. Police brutality, you there? Okay, never mind. Go ahead, Wilson.
Yeah, I think police brutality got tired of listening to me talk. Okay. So again, my question for you, as you probably are more connected to the Black community than I am, unfortunately.
Okay.
What do you think would be? I believe I've done some of the math here with Dr. Cambone's program, school program. I believe $250,000 will do it. That's going to be sufficient to digitize it and make it a homeschool format and available in all those languages that I discussed. What do you think? How do you think? What mechanisms are in place in the Black community now that we as Black people say in the diaspora can raise that $250,000, approach Dr. Cambone, and digitize the school format? What do you think needs to happen for us to be able to do that?
You're saying raise money?
Yeah, I mean, $250,000 is, I think, all that would be needed. And if we gave that to Dr. Cambone, and I don't work for Dr. Cambone, we could use any format you'd like, so that way we could digitize the already existing school format that he's already made. He has an entire school from K to 12, completely in Twi, and you learn Twi, Yoruba, and our ancient Kemetic language, our original language, which is Kemetic, or Nigeria. It's an incredible program, and the students who are in it perform remarkably well. He has 9-year-olds doing algebra 1 and 2 in calculus. It's incredible, the results. And what I'm saying is, I think we ought to take his school format and make that available to all the Black people all over the world. And it would only cost $250K to build the platform, own that platform, and make it available to everybody. And what I'm saying is, what mechanisms exist for us to be able to raise that capital? How would we go about doing that? Because I wouldn't know the first thing.
Bro, the capital's already there. It's just redirecting it from Nike to Dr. Cambone.
So how do we do that? Do you have any solutions for that? Because I think that would be more your area of expertise.
Like I said, it would have to take mass propaganda in regards to finding value in what Dr. Cambone is offering versus Air Force One.
May I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
May I make a suggestion? You have this following, this platform here. I believe you do 2 to 3 of these calls a day. Each one usually draws about 250 people. Why don't you get Dr. Cambone onto your show? Why don't you get Renoka Rashidi onto your show?
I've had Dr. Cambone on my show.
I know that, but I'm talking about not the interview. I'm talking about one of these.
Okay. As far as everybody else, they won't respond. Like I'm just tired of I mean, this is the thing, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or pat my back, but I just think I've somewhat developed enough credibility where if I reach out to somebody who's in the same space, they can respond.
Listen, I'm willing to put up 10 grand towards it, no problem. I'm saying that get Dr. Cabone on there and we could raise the money through your show and we could do this. Let's take an action step. You are in position right now to do that.
Right.
All these people, I know that there are some naysayers, and I can't see your chat, and you don't have to tell me, but I know there's naysayers on your chat, and that's fine. But I also know that there are people who genuinely want to see us succeed. I believe in our people. I believe in us. And I know that maybe I don't have a lot of reasons to, but I believe in us. And I'm saying that with your platform alone, I believe if you created a GoFundMe and you talked about it every single day on your platform and you got Dr. Capone on once a week, I think in a year we could raise the money.
Mm-hmm.
And we could make that available to people. And we don't do it to try to make money, man, because that's another thing. We can't take a capitalist approach to education. We need to make it cheap enough that a poor person, a person living in a favela in Brazil can still afford to pay for it and educate their children with an Afrocentric educational system. And we don't need that much to do it. 250, 300K at most. I've done the math myself. I believe we could do it for as low as 150K. We could do it really well for 300K. And I'm saying you can raise that money. I don't have your platform. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. But everybody knows who you are. And I'm not saying you need to spend any money. I'm simply saying get Dr. Cabone on, let him tell you about the program.
Okay, I know I can get him, but he's the only one that's really engaged. I think a lot of the other ones, man, they just, I don't know what it is. In fact, explain it to me. The older ones just have just egos. I don't know what it is.
No, that's not ego. It's misinformation. I'm telling you that a majority of our issues, man, stems from the fact that we have bought into the propaganda that has been fed to us.
And it's just imagine if the money that got directed to Dr. Umar Johnson was directed towards Dr. Cabone.
Look, I'm not saying that Umar Johnson's a scam artist, man. We have no idea. I think Dr. Umar Johnson has done some good work for the Black community. I'm not saying he's a scam artist. I'm not saying he is. I don't know. Okay, I want to make that clear. I have no idea. And I'm not going to convict the man without evidence. But what I will say is with Dr. Cabone, he would be an employee of you in many ways. For example, you raise the money, you put together the computer engineers to build the platform, and I would prefer African engineers so our people could get those jobs. We build the internet platform, we make it available to the globe. All you got to do is go online, pay a very minimal annual fee, and you can enroll your child into school. And we just take his curriculum, his program, his everything, and we put it on there. It's not something that would be overly complicated. It'd be very hard to scam people out of something like that. People could feel comfortable. And then we could even use a third party for the money in terms of a GoFundMe page, for example. Take that money, digitize the format, and let's get this school available to the people who want their kids to have an Afrocentric education. I don't know the numbers, but I guess I may be overly optimistic, but I have a strong passion and belief in my people. I know that our people want good education for their kids. I know that there are a lot of struggling single mothers, but if they could pay $150 to $200 a year and put their kid in a school that's not going to make them feel like second and third class human beings, I believe that there are a lot of single mothers who would do that.
All right, cool. Hey, brother, police brutality, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Dan. As I was.
1 second, brother Wilkins, can you mute yourself because of the echo?
Oh, I'll do that now.
All right, go ahead, police brutality.
Yeah, sorry, Dan. As I was using the office computer, I didn't know it was crap. Sorry. I didn't know it was crap. Yeah, I just want to say, I've been listening to all you guys have been saying, where from the beginning that people have been saying that, if a cracker calls us the N-word, we're like, sometimes we're even trying to downplay it, but when we Africans call them Akata, it becomes like, hell yeah, they want to choke us to death.
Right.
And yeah, it's the truth. Like, I see a lot of that on various chat platforms I've been on, and the war is crazy. And also, I also found about the fact that the woman playing the Harriet Tubman, the lady, she's Nigerian but born in Britain. So I just don't understand why our people in the States will go and tell cracker not to allow her to play that role. But funny enough, Harriet Tubman's ancestor comes from the motherland. So I don't understand. Like, can someone help me out? Because
Again, police brutality. The
yeah,
answer to your question has been answered already, man. It is a miseducation. There's a book that I think you should read, Police
okay,
Brutality, called The Miseducation of the Negro.
yeah, I've read that. Read that.
Okay, then you have your answer. It is
Okay,
not, and it's important that we understand this, that this is not these black people who are doing this. I don't think it's their fault. Now, I know some
okay.
people say, of course it's their fault. But no, if you're ignorant, how could you say it's their fault? Maya Angelou said it best. Be mad at a stupid person, not an ignorant one. An ignorant person simply doesn't know. A stupid person doesn't know and doesn't want to learn. I don't believe black people are stupid. I believe black people are ignorant. I believe a lot of black people just don't know.
No, there's some stupid ones, bro. Trust me. Go listen. Go on O'Shea do Jackson's Sunday Rebel, and you'll definitely hear some stupidness. But go ahead.
Well, again, man, maybe there's a stupid contingent, but I don't think it's the majority. I'm simply saying to you, first of all, we have to look at the making of the movie Harriet in the first place. That movie is a distraction to pacify black people. Because don't you think it's interesting that they're putting out this movie after after they promised that Harriet Tubman was going to be on the $20 bill?
Yep.
And then recently Trump went ahead and shelved that for another 10 years.
Crack at Trump.
Right? So like they're gonna go ahead and shelve something significant, a black face on American money, and then give you a fucking movie. And they're probably gonna have Harriet Tubman getting raped in there by a white man too. They're gonna always a fly in the perfume.
You think so?
I would be willing to bet money that.
Okay, listen. I will bet you some trophy. Okay, you're saying that she's gonna get raped by a white man in the film.
Or she's gonna be heavily degrading. Something.
I'm gonna say this. I think because Janelle Monáe's in it, I won't be surprised if there's like a kissing scene between Tubman and Janelle Monáe.
There's gonna be something, yeah. They're going to either make her homosexual, they're gonna degrade her in some way. They always do that. It's part of the game, man. They have to do it. They're not gonna just give it to you, man. They can't just give it to you because then the starters, well, we can't overly empower them. Let me tell you something with Black Panther, for example, man. They're gonna wait a long time before they make another Black Panther movie.
No, it's already in the works.
Okay, we'll see.
It's already on schedule.
Because black people got too empowered by Black Panther, man.
How?
They got
How are they empowered? Hold on. Besides getting dressed up and going to the movie and posting on Instagram,
the Wakanda One project. Do you know about the Wakanda One project?
And that's in Zambia, and that's the Zambia and Zimbabwe, right?
Wait, by the way, this is for all the black people who say stuff like African countries don't want us there. So we could build shit. They gave the land away. They're like, yeah, you want something for black people? Oh yeah, absolutely. They literally gave like thousands of acres, like a lot of free land. Okay, like so that they could build the Wakanda One project for a fucking movie. That's how much Africa want us there.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Okay, you know that the Ghana Right to Return program has been on since 2000.
Yes, I know that.
But you see, you have a lot of our people here on Dionysus channel screaming like, oh, the Africans didn't do anything for us. They didn't do nothing, I ain't got no money kind of mentality.
Listen, I'm not going to make fun of them because I believe it's an ignorance issue. It is not a stupidity issue. I will not concede that. I will not call my people stupid. I'll just call them ignorant. They have no idea. But yes, Africa's been trying to get black people to come back to the continent for a long time.
So long.
okay, like for a very, very long time. For example, Dinas, you talk about how Haiti was rejected as being a part of the African Union.
Right.
But you don't realize that Haiti is still on the observer has an observer status on the African Union.
Well, yeah, we did a show. No, they're actually on the African Union. I did a show on that yesterday.
Right. So dude, like I said, you've had African presidents go to Haiti, go throughout the Caribbean, trying to get us to come back. They want us. It's the one place on the planet where we're wanted, man. They want us. You've gotten a great reception. I've got an amazing reception.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian.
Omo Naija.
Okay.
Omo Naija.
I've had a chief has asked me to marry his daughter. I mean, it's funny, I guess. I didn't think of it as funny when I said it when it happened, but I mean, I was kind of honored. I was like, "Oh man, you want me to marry your daughter? That's cool." Of course, I didn't do it because I was like, "That's kind of like sexist and repressive to her as a female. She probably has a choice in all of this." But either way, like that, man, like the guy gave me a sweetheart deal on the land. He wanted triple what he was asking for, but when he saw I was black, he gave me a sweetheart deal to purchase that land. Because I told him that I want to bring jobs to his community and I want to empower his people. And as I grow wealthy, I'm going to pave roads there. I'm going to build a school there. Because I am going to do that. And so he gave me the land for a third of the price. And a white school a white church came and offered him double what I've offered him.
Of course they did.
And he rejected it and gave me the land. That's how beloved we are. They want us home, man. They want us to connect. I just think we don't know, man. That's what it really comes down to. It's an ignorance.
Again, brother, what happens? I'm gonna tell you what it is. This is what it really is, bro. I'm gonna do another show on this. There was a president, a U.S. president, who said that he'll have the poorest white person feeling better or more confident or superior to the richest black person. I'm gonna tell you what it is here in America. We got the way they've done it as far as the brainwashing. They got the poorest black person feeling superior to the richest African.
Yes, it's like look, police brutality. Don't
like I'm just like observing the people who talk the most shit. It's like they don't own nothing. They in the hood, you know. They're using for
come on. But no, listen. Again, we have to remember everybody. Police brutality, Mr. Amir. Can we please all remember that it is an ignorance issue, not a stupidity issue. And that's one of the reasons why I believe us in this fucking
you get, bro, dude. I gotta disagree, man. You don't understand. Okay, let me ask you this. What if you choose to remain ignorant?
Then you're stupid.
Okay, it's a stupid issue.
And look, here's the deal. I'm honest and I'm open, okay? Here's the deal. And I'm going to talk to you guys, and if anything I say sounds like Chinese to you, just tell me, because I'm going to talk to you about some stuff that's in my actual field of study, okay? The United States of America, as well as the rest of the European Union, are about to have one of the largest financial collapses the world has ever seen.
Say that again.
The United States of America, as well as the European Union, Europe, Western civilization, is about to have one of the largest, not one of, the largest financial collapse the world has ever seen. The last time we've seen a financial collapse.
We're going to finish. Go to finish.
The last time we've seen a financial collapse this big was the fall of the Roman Empire. And the collapse started since 1971 when we went off the gold standard. And where the only thing that's been keeping us afloat is a deal we made with Saudi Arabia in 1975 to pin oil to the dollar, creating the petrodollar. That's why, but to maintain that hegemony, we've had to go to endless wars, constant war. We have a $750 billion military budget, and it grows by 10% every single year. At the same time, the United States has to print money to be able to pay its debts. And the only reason it gets to get away with it is because it's the reserve currency. We're talking about an economy that's $22 trillion in debt and goes $1 trillion in debt every year. It is 105% of GDP. That means every dollar that's in circulation to America owes $1.05. Okay? Now, when the gold standard dies, which is about to happen here within the next 10 to 15 years after China officially overtakes them, because this is the first time in American history that America is facing an opponent, i.e. China, who they cannot beat militarily outright, because America cannot financially afford a long-term war with a competent enemy. They don't have the financial resources to do it, so they cannot go to war with China, nor can they win an economic war with China. So when China surpasses them, the Chinese have introduced the petro-yuan. It's also the biggest consumer of oil in the world. And over time, everybody's going to be using the petro-yuan to buy oil. The moment that happens, the United States dollar is going to devalue by 300%, at which point will lead to a financial crash. Everyone knows it. It's just a matter of time. Now, some of you may understand what the fuck I just said. Some of you may not understand it. If you do, send me an email. I'll shoot you back some answers to your questions. What that ultimately means is when that happens in 15 to 20 years from now, it's going to be worse than Venezuela. Everybody's going to be trying to get out of the United States. Black people, Latino people. The Latinos are going to. No, it's not funny because it is going to be kind of sad. It's going to be pandemonium, man, and it might lead to a severe war where millions of people will die. But there is going to be a mass exodus out of these European countries.
Yeah.
The Latinos, they have the Latin America.
Where are they going to go?
Africa.
Latinos will just go back to Latin America. Indians will go back to India. Chinese will go back to Chinese. We need to make a place for our brothers and sisters, even the ignorant and stupid ones, the black ones.
Okay, see, this is where I disagree with you. Somebody, please, I know, like Mark Garvey said, we can't, nah, some of them got to stay, bro.
Okay, and maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them do, but what we can do, what I'm saying is, if we start educating our people properly now, through a school like what I'm saying, look, maybe 1 million or 2 million people enroll in that school, and I believe that can happen. 1 or 2 million. Maybe that's all that enrolls. I believe that's enough.
Okay.
You create a generation of 1 million to 2 million Afrocentrically educated black people. That is enough to spark a revolution and liberate us. I believe if we start educating our people now, we start making those type of resources available to them now. I believe if we do that, when that crash does happen, we can create our own Zionist situation back home in Africa, because the Africans want us home anyway.
Right.
Yep. I support. We want them.
Hey, let me let the brother Alexandre. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Wilkie, do me a favor. Mute yourself, Wilkie, please.
You got it.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, just speak up a little bit. Go ahead.
All right, okay. I just wanted to put in some input on what he was talking about when it comes to education and how black people can improve their education. Well, I was born in Cameroon, in southwestern Cameroon, which is currently going through sort of like civil war with the national army. Anyways, as far as education goes, what a lot of people in my tribe and in my city did is that we would send our people, our young ones, to boarding schools, and these boarding schools will be private entities to the point where whoever owns the boarding school gets to determine what the people in that boarding school are going to learn. So I was thinking maybe if African Americans in America sort of like did the same thing where they bought private boarding schools or private land and turned them into boarding schools, and then kind of like funneled their people or their children into those boarding schools so their children can control what they learn and their children can get a better education that doesn't really brainwash them.
I think you're absolutely right, but I also think that it would be cheaper to just simply make it an online, because online homeschooling has existed for 20 years. Okay, we have models that we could work off of. That would do the exact same thing, but it would be cheaper, because unfortunately, a lot of black people do not have a lot of resources, are not very wealthy, or not very well off.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so I believe if we made it online, an online homeschool, because I'm not just thinking about Black people in America. A majority of the Black diaspora, nobody talks about, and very few people except myself has talked about them on this conversation, and that is the Latin American, the Afro Latinos. Okay, the Latin American diaspora is where most of us are. There's 100 million of us in Brazil. Okay, I mean, in Latin America, it is insane. I mean, Latin America is very, very Black, and I want that the Latin Americans could get access to that education. I want that Black Americans could get access to that education. I want other Africans to get access to that education too.
Yeah, my
I think that this online format would be just for diasporans. It would be for Africans too. And I'm saying that we would make it so cheap, so inexpensive that anybody could pay for it. I would make it cheap enough that a Brazilian family, a Black Brazilian family in a favela in Brazil, which is like a slum, would be able to afford to send their kid to that school. So that way everybody can get a proper education. And I believe we could get millions of Blacks all around the world just through that school. And it would make a tremendous difference. And the Black world will have its first real chance to truly liberate itself in about 15 to 20 years.
But you said the crash. What's the crash that's happening?
I believe the fact that it hasn't happened already is amazing, but most people in my field can't see it going past. Like, I believe that most people believe that China will officially surpass America as the most important economy in the world within about 10 years. And there's no way that the American economy will be able to maintain its dollar hegemony past 5 or 10 years after that. So 15 to 20 years.
Okay,
News is predicting 2020.
The only thing that's keeping America powerful right now is this giant military, which it needs to fund with money, and the fact that the dollar is the world reserve currency, which gives America sanction power to coerce other governments to do stuff like what they're doing in Zimbabwe and Venezuela, etc. Once America loses sanction power, meaning they can't sanction anybody because their dollar is not what's needed for international trade, they're not going to have enough. They're not going to be able to print the money that they need to fund their liabilities. So there's going to be a massive devaluation. The U.S. dollar is overvalued. Is literally inflated by 300 to 400% of its value. It's way more valuable than it really is. America doesn't manufacture anything. Did you know that? They're one of the weakest manufacturing countries in the world. Importers. Damn. America has a trading balance with just about every country it trades with. They import everything.
Wow.
America is actually very similar to most African countries. in the sense that it imports more than it exports.
Oh boy.
Most African countries import everything.
Oh boy.
America imports everything. So, the only reason America can get away with it and African countries can't is because America has a dollar hegemony. Let me go ahead and give you some more shocking information. Do you know what's the most fucked off country in Africa right now? Probably Zimbabwe, because I think Zimbabwe is a little worse off than the Congo.
I was going to say Congo.
Okay, I'll use the Congo because the Congo is even better. Do you know that the Congo's financials are actually relatively better than America's, and I'll explain why. The Congo's debt to GDP ratio is 55%. That means for every Congolese dollar, it owes 55 cents. America's debt to GDP ratio is 105. That means for every dollar that is in circulation, America owes $1.05. That means it owes more money than what it generates.
Oh boy.
The only reason it gets away with it is because America gets to print money unlimitedly because of the fact everybody needs the demand for dollars is so high because you need dollars for international trade. But if America loses that dollar hegemony, it can't pay its debts. And because it doesn't manufacture anything, it's innovative. It's an innovation hub because of Silicon Valley. But another thing people don't seem to realize is that 78 or 79% of Silicon Valley's workforce is foreigners. All those engineers, all those computer scientists, they're not. Okay, so American-bred actual engineers produces very few engineers. What they do is they just steal engineers from everybody else. So those Indians, those Chinese, those Africans that are those engineers that are working in those companies. And America could get away with it because of the power of their dollar. But Russia and China right now have formed a coalition to overthrow the dollar. And once that dollar, and America's never going to go to war with Russia or China because they won't win that war. They can't afford the war. You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand the United States has 800 bases all over the world. They spend $750 billion on their military.
What?
That is unsustainable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so what happens when the value of the currency decreases by 1,000%? So to help you understand, that means massive inflation. That means how much is a gallon of milk in Atlanta right now? This is going to help you understand this. You understand this.
God damn, I bought a gallon of almond milk. That was like $3. Regular milk,
Okay.
I don't.
$3. Just tell me how much the almond milk is. Tell me that.
I think it was like $3 and some change, something like that.
Okay. When the crash happens and the current currency devalues, that same gallon of milk you just bought will cost $30. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
Right? Your wages are not going to go up.
And let me say this: the gallon of milk that I bought is like the store brand, like the Kroger.
Okay. That store brand,
like $3.50, something like that.
Right, because if the U.S. dollar was at its real value, what it's actually worth, you would have paid $30 for that milk. And if you look on the back of your milk, guess what? It's not made in the USA. It was imported.
Mm-hmm.
Could we revisit the education situation real quick? I want to put some. I want to give a little.
So you have it. Yeah. So let me. So that way I can maybe even start getting people on your channel to understand this. Maybe my only opportunity to get them to understand this. So right now, you have a country that is deeply in debt, that imports all of the products that it consumes, doesn't really manufacture anything that it exports besides agricultural products and oil, relies on foreign workers to do all of its innovation. Okay? The moment the currency is not worth shit, all those innovators leave. What do you think? Google, Facebook, Apple, they're just going to reincorporate.
It's happening now. All these internet millionaires, they're dipping to Singapore and Central America.
So if they, of course they are. And the reason that they're doing it is because they know the crash is coming, and they're gonna go where the new action is. That's why everybody's going to Africa. That Africa is the future, man. It's the last fucking frontier.
Yep, the last frontier.
If you got some balls and you ain't scared, bro, we're talking about the 1900s all over again, brother. Go out there and fucking get it. It's the last frontier. Survival of the fittest. Go get it. We're about to see a crop of billionaires, and they're going to all come from. The question is, are they going to be black, white, or Indian? And I'm saying, let's make sure it's Negroes who are getting that money, because we're about to see a whole lot of rich money get made out of Africa. And so all these people are saying, I ain't going to Africa. That's fine. But just remember, all those Asians are going to Africa for a reason. All those Europeans are going to Africa for a reason, because that's the place right now. You want to get
no money?
You want to? It's literally a running joke amongst elites. You want to get rich, you go to Africa. That's why they're all going there.
I ain't got no money to Africa, man.
You take a country like Liberia, our country, which literally black Americans could just go to and will automatically be allowed in. You don't even need anything special.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, that's another one. Liberia, as long as you're of African Negro descent, you can get citizenship.
And guess what about Liberia, bro? Liberia, because of the 20 years of war, needs everything. You can sell toilet paper in Liberia and become rich. It needs everything, bro. It has no roads. It has no infrastructure. It has no reliable power grid. That is just nothing but money. You could, if you're willing to go ahead and rough it, They need everything, man. They need a cell phone service. They need everything, bro, everything. That's just dude. That is nothing but money, millions of dollars, and it's yours. You could just go. You could just go, get on a plane and go, and then start something, and it will go, man. Because they need everything.
Liberia is now a war zone.
It's no longer a war zone. I'm saying because of the war, it's in that situation.
I saw a comment saying that.
Like seriously, people should come. Like what the hell?
Again, man, there are some who don't know. They're not bad people. They just don't know. And
you giving these people too much credit, bro. Nah, they stupid. I'm sorry.
This is why we have to review.
I mean, listen, Wilkins, stop the show. You just had in Gilroy, California, at the dam, it was like the olive oil festival. 15 people just got shot. Did you know we always talk about Baltimore and Chicago? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, America's about to, when great empires decline, okay, because America is a great empire no matter how you spin it. The world has never seen a military force like the United States ever. Let's respect America for what it is. It is an incredible empire, right? It is huge. It is big. And when that empire, history has never seen an empire that great except Kemet. And when Kemet fell, it was chaos on the continent. Kemet was a 6,000-year-old empire that consisted of a majority of the African continent. When it fell, it led to chaos, absolute chaos. And Africa never fully recovered from the fall of Kemet. So the last time we saw an empire as big as the United States was Kemet. And if you know anything about the fall of Kemet, you know that it was a chaotic situation, right? So we're about to see chaos in the most fucked up of ways. In that process, you're going to see a lot of violence. Just a lot of cruel shit's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of black people.
Especially the fact that, everybody has a gun in America.
Oh, shit.
So you're going to see a lot of mass shootings. You're going to see, it's going to get worse, man. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's going to get worse. As white people feel less secure, okay? Because they never felt secure in their position anyway, because they never should have had that position. It was a freak accident that they were they were a war-based society because they had to fight over resources. So they got better at war than everybody else, and they had less humanity than everybody else. So a freak accident made them the most powerful race of people in the world for a mere 500 years, which is remarkably short. It's, in fact, pathetically short, actually. It's literally the most pathetic imperial reign ever. It's going to go down in history as that. But either way, for 500 years, they've had a position that they never should have had in the first place, and they've always known that they should have never had it. This creates a certain insecurity in your position. And so when you start to feel that insecurity and you start to feel the walls closing in on you, that barbarian that led you to that caused them to do such cruelty as slavery and chattel slavery and the slaughter of entire civilization, that barbarian is going to start to come out.
Yeah, Cracker knows I'm onto him, so he should get ready.
Okay, I have a quick question, real quick, for the dude that was talking about the education thing.
Yeah.
One of my biggest contentions with online education is that it's kind of hard to teach higher level stuff like math, algebra, all those kind of things that you need someone with a specialty to teach. So how would you solve that?
Dr. Cambone has already solved that. The first thing Dr. Cambone in his school, and this is going to fuck with you, has a 9-year-old girl, and there's video of this online, who's literally doing calculus 2 in Tweet. She learned that through his school system, his school program. The entire format is taught in the mother tongue, which is Twi, as well as Yoruba, and he also teaches Kemet, which is the ancient dead language of our ancestors from our first great empire, Kemet, which created hieroglyphics. His entire lesson plan is in that, and of course, you learn English on top of that. Now, keep in mind, our African mother tongues are significantly more complex. English is actually an infantile language. It's the language of babies, okay? So if you know an African tongue, you can learn any language. That's why the average African knows 4 languages. That's a fact. because his mother tongue is vastly more complex and better than any other European languages that he needs to learn.
Okay, well, my parents didn't teach me my tribal tongue.
That's fine. But if you go to Africa, they learn languages very quickly. Africans are already picking up Chinese, because every other language in comparison to the mother tongues of Africans is like baby talk. Their languages are vastly superior than everybody else's. That's just the fact. It's more complex, more rich. And so when that's your first language, you can learn any language very quickly. That's why Africans have picked up Chinese at remarkable speed. We're talking within 5 to 10 years, you have a lot of Africans who speak fluent Chinese.
Yeah.
A language you would consider it easy because their mother tongue is just better. So when you think in the mother tongue too, that's why, remember, Black people invented mathematics. We invented that. And so we actually have a natural affinity to mathematics. Let me go ahead and testify to our superiority racially. Do you know that Black babies learn to walk up to 3 to 4 months faster than any other race of baby?
Yep.
You know that Black.
I know that. We actually learned that in one of my psychology classes.
We also learn to talk sometimes as many as 6 months to a year before any other children. We come out the womb better, brother. We're bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter.
Okay, so you think these parents can accurately teach their children mathematics skills with an online course?
I believe Dr. Cambone, who is an excellent educator, I believe that he could digitize the format such that it can be done, because it's already, if a white person can do it, because white people have online homeschools now. Okay? So if a white person,
Yeah, Alexandra, I want to say one thing. Our people, we are natural mathematicians. You know, it's in us. Like for me, I grew up. My mom would tell me as a child I was very good at math even before I started secondary school. Like elementary school, I was very good.
Mathematics is the language of God. Okay? Mathematics in and of itself is a language. The original African languages are very mathematical in nature. That's why they're superior languages. It is a natural marriage. That's why we invented math. Okay. So if you already think in a mathematical language, you'll already think in a mathematical format.
All right. I have one more thing I wanted to say regarding the positives of going to boarding school. One huge positive is that, you know, the parents are not going to have to worry about taking care of their children while they're in boarding school.
I agree with you. I think a boarding school would be superior. I just don't think the affordability aspect would work. Unfortunately, again, a lot of Black youth, especially in the United States, are raised by women.
Okay, how about this?
All types of problems that come with that, but one of it's an affordability issue.
Let's say this. Let's say this was to happen. We built the boarding schools in Africa, and parents in America get to decide if they want to send their children there or not. It would make it a lot more affordable since they're using American dollars to send their children to an African boarding school. And at the same time, they can control the kind of education that their child gets or receives without much interference by the United States government.
Well, the only person I know who could possibly answer that on this conversation is Dynas. Dynas is the salesperson. Can you sell that to the Black American populace?
It's going to be hard, but I know the cost. I mean, being honest, I would say the cost of boarding school, like a very, very good boarding school in Africa with top tier education, access to it. I mean, I say will be affordable for the middle class Black person. Then, I mean, basically you'll have two options. So you'll have the option to do homeschooling here in America, or if you want a more, I would say, inclusive experience, you'll have an option. Dr. Gabon can have boarding schools set up throughout the continent where you can send your kids there.
And what I'm saying is, Dynas, because of your talent, because I got to admit to you, you're a remarkably talented person. I've read some of your books. You're not the best writer, but you're decent enough.
Thank you.
I support anybody who's doing anything positive and is Black. I'm gonna support you. So I went and bought all your books. You know, I mean, they're not bad. So what it says is you have some talent. What I'm also saying to you is you have those connections. You have a following here. You have a lot of people who listen to you. why don't you start the trend, man? Get Dr. Cabone on your show. Get with Watermeyer. Get with the Dr. Phil Scott, who has Afro Diaspora News Channel. Get with O'Shea Jackson, and let's start a fundraising drive, a GoFundMe. Let's get Dr. Cabone on board and say, this is what we want to do. You have the ability to do this, man. And it may take a year, and it may take 2 years, but we can do it. And you can do it. And I will put up money. I'm not just saying this. Create it. I'll be the first person to donate. I'm just simply saying, let me ask you a question. Would you put up a couple $100 to try to make that dream happen?
Of course.
Hey, don't forget PBW here. PBWW here too.
Okay, exactly. And then we could get our greatest minds. We could get Dr. Smalls in this. We could get Renault Rashidi in this. We could get Henry. We could get Dr. Clark in this. We have the people, man, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. We can do it. And I'm saying, Dynasty, you can do it.
But I hate to say it, you have a lot of ego.
I don't think this is an ego issue here, man. We've identified the talent. Dr. Cambone is connected with all of these people that I just mentioned.
Okay.
This is an ego-free situation. And you know something else, Dynasty? You would be a hero. 25, 30 years from now, when the revolution happens, you will go down in history as the man who started it from his living room in Atlanta.
Shit, you're already a prince.
and listen, the first school will be built in Oruo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying it can be done, and I'm saying you can do it. I don't have your platform. If I did, I would do it myself. But I'm saying you can do it, Dynasty. You know Dr. Cambone. You know he will come on your show, man. Get him on your show and get him on your show constantly. You got some guy selling you've had this guy with a round head who's very excited selling something on your show a couple of times. And I'm sure he's made some business off of your show. And I'm sure
hold on, brother. That's my business partner, brother.
No,
right.
Wait. Let me say this straight. Hold
on. That's my business partner, Fitzgerald Stevens. So I'm gonna need you to put some respect on his name.
I'm not saying it in a negative way.
He's talking about the round head, and you know.
Well, he has a round head. I know his name. He's handsome. He has a round head.
Come on now.
That's the brother, my big brother and business partner, Fitzgerald Stevens.
Okay, Fitzgerald Stevens. I'm going to call him Mr. Stevens if that's okay with you. Mr. Stevens has given you evidence that your platform works. You could sell positive things to Black people from your platform. So there's evidence. I'm saying be a hero.
Okay.
You know, I hope they won't say I ain't got no money, you know, because this is getting too much. I don't, you know, like seriously.
Okay. Well, hey guys, let's go ahead and what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Brother Wilkins, anything you'd like to share in closing?
Well, again, man, I'm gonna say this as often as I can until you listen to me, Dennis. Let's get Cambone on the show. Let's start this school. Let's put words to action, and let's save our people. Our people need education, and they need great men like yourself to make that happen. There are not a lot of Dynasty Amirs. There is one. I would like it if you would be a general of this future army, and create liberation for our people. 100 years from now, they will know the name Dynasty Amir as the man who started the revolution.
No, it's Prince Adewale Dynasty Amir.
Amir.
It is Prince Adewale Amir.
Go ahead.
I'm just simply saying, let's make history. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'll be your first donator, and I'll come on the show, and I'll push it. I'll do whatever I have to do. I'm saying you have the platform. Cambone has the knowledge. Let's go save our people. The ones who want to be saved. Some will not follow us. Some will not put their kids into school. Some will want to be close to white people and let them, and they will die along with them in 30 years. But the ones who do want to make a difference, the ones who do care about their children's future, they will enroll in that school. And those people will be the future leaders and leadettes of the revolution that will be needed globally to set our people free. I'm just simply saying, please, Mr. Amir, let's do this.
Yes, sir. All right, police brutality. Go ahead.
I just want to say this for our people that are looking for positions under Cracker Supremacy. This is one thing I have to tell you. Cracker doesn't love you. He's going to sell you out. He's going to destroy you. Okay, so we should stop always trying to pander to Cracker Supremacy because it's ending. It's going down. There's no point. That's all I have to say.
I agree.
All right, guys. Everyone, anything you want to share in closing, brother?
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
What are you gonna do?
I'm definitely gonna reach out to Dr. Gabon, definitely. But I can't do it alone. I'll just say that.
You will not be.
Okay.
You'll at least have one other guy. You'll have me.
Because I'll be honest, I would love to really run these schools through the spiritual temples.
I mean, it's not going to cost a lot of money. We could raise it. I mean, you get about 250 people viewing every single episode. That means 500 people view your episode live every day, and then the streams afterwards. I've watched. You usually get anywhere from 5 to 10,000 streams afterwards. Man, you have a huge reach, man, a huge one. And we're not even talking about your subscribers. Then we got Wada Myers. We've got Phil Scott. You've got connections to all these people.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you did a show with Phil Scott.
Yes, and Wody, and sister, Dr. Moombi.
A star, whatever her name is.
Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Dr. Mumbi Saraki. I know her.
Saraki. All of these people can help you raise the money.
Yep.
Just get. You have it. You can do this. I'm telling you.
The thing is, I already have the 501c3 for people like I want a tax write off. I have a 501c3.
Yes, so you can do this. I know I will donate a substantial amount of money. Every chance I get, I will put money in that GoFundMe. You just do a GoFundMe. People feel better because it's GoFundMe. It's not going directly to you until money is raised. You put the number up, and Dr. Mumbi will push it. I know Phil Scott will push it because he believes in this. There's like-minded people. All they need is just one of us. You, Dynas, and you're the guy. I mean, Dynas, let's just be put it. You're more charismatic than all the other people online, so you are the guy to lead this. Phil Scott can't lead it. He's just not as charismatic as you. Neither could Dr. Moonby, but you can. People will believe you. People will follow you, and they will give you money.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, guys. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynas, Abeto, Adewale, Amir. Search for Huru. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family. Peace.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, real quick, like I said, Fafu Malal, we're working on everyone. So, I'll go ahead and announce it now. So I have a nonprofit 501c3 called Diuf Diul. It's being rebranded to Africa Personified. Again, Africa Personified. And one of the projects was, number one, I want to create ecosystems. So, for example, you have the church, you have the mosque. Within these churches and these mosques, they provide jobs and also school. So you always have the Catholic school connected to the Catholic church. So unfortunately, it's our temples with Ifa, Voodoo, animism, whatever. They need work. I'll just be honest. They need work. So what I want to do is help rebuild them through the foundation, and then you can do the schools on site in the facility. So instead of people going to have to go to Catholic school, Christian school, Islamic school and studies, they can just go to the Ifa Voodoo, learn the education, and yeah. But
send me the information. You have my email. I'll donate 1,000 into your.
Okay. All right. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay. I'm gonna get some accounts into my accounts in the U.S. and I'll send you a bank check. You can put me down for 1,000. I'll put that money in. All I ask for you, Dynas, is that you make this school happen, man. You're the only person that I know of who does this, who could do it. So please, man, get Cambone on the show. It's not enough for us to get together on these platforms and talk. The people who can make action, like yourself, like police brutality, like like myself, we need to take action. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to do. So let's do it. We can do it. I believe in us, and I know you guys believe in us as well. So let's do it. And it's not even expensive. We've got the talent, we've got the people, and you have the connections. Let's use your platform and let's do it.
Okay,
But
hold
yeah,
on one
send me
second.
that $1,000.
Hold on one second. Hold on, everybody. I just want to show you guys everything. So hold on one second. Let me share the screen real quick. If everybody could mute yourselves, please. Let me show this to you guys. So this is it right here. I haven't been active with it, but like I said, currently right now, you know, actually I changed the name, so it's going to be Africa Personified. So this is the foundation. I've had a nonprofit since 2007, like a real 501c3. Right, and like I said, I recently just changed it to Africa Personified. So again, the concept is really focusing on the spiritual, the temples, education. That's where we're starting at. Because my thing is, you know, we got to have nice facilities to worship in. You know, the churches are nice, the mosques are absolutely beautiful, but then you know, a lot of our temples are just, I'll be honest, and a lot of people get offended. The temples aren't that they just aren't attractive. I'm just being honest. You know, please don't take it personal. You know, I'm initiated in voodoo, and you know, I practice African spirituality, Ifa, and it's just, you know, I'm an Oba, I'm a chief in Ile Ife. In fact, people will come on the tour. You're gonna come to my temple. In Ile Ife, the Akere temple, and it's just the places of worship need a whole lot of work. So, brother, that 1,000 that you're gonna give me is gonna be split between the temple in Ouida and temple in Ile Ife. So I appreciate it. But yeah, but this is the site, guys. Like I said, it's been fully functional forever. It's just I haven't really, you know, I haven't really, and I got to change. Like I'm gonna change it. Like the board of directors, everything is gonna be changed. You know, take action, tax ID number. You can donate right here. I've had this for years. I just haven't been doing anything with it.
Well, the great prophets of Kemet once always said in their prophecies that even after Kemet would fall, Ma'at would come and Kemet would rise again. And I believe that. I really do. It could be, I'm saying to you, Mr. Amir, that I'm giving you this $1,000 because I believe that you can be a major piece to the eventual rise of Kemet. I know that a lot of people think that I might be exaggerating with the power of this school, but I'm not. I know how important education is. I am a reformed Negropean.
Me
So
too.
I'm not,
I mean, I was half Negropean though. I was a half Coonan. I was half Coonan. Go ahead.
but look at, I've learned about my history later in life and look at who I am now. And I know I will never be fully Africanized because for more than most of my life, it was controlled by the European propaganda. I'll never be fully Africanized. And I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is if the knowledge itself can do this much for me, who has been a Negropean for majority of his life, what can it do for the mind of a child? Okay, I believe that this will change it all. And I believe that you using your platform with your connections, dude, you know Mumbi Saraki, she's got like 5 million followers. Phil Scott, I think he's got like 1 million followers. Rhoda Maya's got like 2 million followers. You know all of these people. And you think not all these people will not help you raise money for that school? Come on, man. You're going to be able to sell all of these people. You could get Dr. Cambone and his message and his ideas. Dr. Cambone only has 8,500 subscribers. It is sad. It is pathetically low considering this man's genius. Right. But you can get him in front of millions of people, millions of our people. You can do that.
Okay, cool. Well, brother, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this donation to prove to you I'm not bullshitting you. I'm
Okay.
hoping that we'll carry you to
No,
action.
it's going to use, brother.
Okay. You take care of yourself. Thank you for letting me on your show, and I really hope that this makes a difference. I really do.
It will.
Okay, take care.
You too. All right, peace, everyone.